And now, for the Comixium Hypo forecast for February 17th, 2020. We begin everything off with the Atlantic, which has seen Benny, which was a Mediterranean cyclone, cross over into the Atlantic somehow. Don't even know how that happened, but we do think it's going to maintain its tropical storm status before moving north and possibly hitting the Azores, still somehow tropical. Benny is freaking weird, and it's expected to stay weird over the next few days. In other news, Bravo and Charlie have barely moved over the last 24 hours, where tropical storm warnings are still in effect for the exact same places as we saw in the last update, so nothing new there. We pretty much expect flooding and rains to come from these two systems in northern Minnesota and western Michigan and eastern Minnesota for the next few days. How sad. In the western Pacific, 97W has formed and now has a 70% chance of formation. Other than that, the remnants of everything have now dissipated at this point. How freaking sad. In other news, Australia got a graphics update, so we have some new icons and such to show you now. We now have Tropical Storm Herald, which is moving inland, Joshua, that remains a Category 1 on the Saffir-Simpson hurricane scale, and Imogen, which has now degenerated into a remnant low over central Australia. 93S now has a 70% chance of formation, with 94P pretty much forming by tomorrow. 94S has also formed, but only has a 10% chance of formation right now, so there's just a lot going on in Australia, and needless to say, you're getting flooded anywhere at this point. No graphics were provided on the Southwest Indian Ocean, but what we do know right now is that Irandro is a Category 4, and Gerudo is pretty much failing and only going to remain a tropical storm before turning extratropical later this week. At least the cones were made, which will be shown later this video. Meanwhile, in the North Indian Ocean, PR has not moved, nor has O1B. O2B has also formed from the invest that we mentioned in the last video. But the thing is, O1B is still controversially called Balls by the other North Indian Ocean forecasters, but this one has refused to recognize its name. And holy crap, there's finally something in the South Pacific. It only took us over a few weeks to get something, but we finally do have one. And it looks like it could finally become Calvinia. The Eastern Pacific remains dead at this time, so there's really no point in us talking about anything there, because it's only just failing us right now. Also because it's February, so you shouldn't even be expecting anything from this basin at all anyway, so might as well just close it off here. Well, here's the outlook from the South Atlantic Center, which we're seeing some loveliness concerning the fact that we now have 4 storms active at once, something never seen before in recorded history. Patira, Category 4, Ube and Rayoni, both tropical storms, and Okira, a Category 1 still. Although we're getting reports that Patira did make landfall earlier today as a Category 5 cyclone, so that's interesting to see what will happen by the next update. In other news, an analysis for Hypo has come out. You can tell it's tracked there. Official intensity being 130 miles an hour, the pressure 937, caused 105 billion in damage with 96 deaths, 5 still missing. As you can tell, that is fulfilling requirements, and it looks like Hypo will be retired, and a replacement name will be announced next week on February 24th. Here is the outlook on Joshua. You can tell it's going to pretty much stay weakening until it dissipates within 72 hours. Could actually dissipate much sooner. We pretty much expect that there will be advisory discontinue within Tuesday. Herald is going to become interesting, the fact that it's going to weaken into a remnant low, then re-intensify and turn around back as a tropical depression again. So this will be interesting to see where this goes from here. Here's a look at Irandro's cone, which at this point is outdated. We do expect it to turn around and try to hit Mauritius because it failed this time. But this will be an interesting thing, and Mauritius still needs to take a look at this because they're still under the gun. And there's not much for me to say about Druid, because Druid is just absolute garbage at this point and only expected to weaken now. Well, that's where we end the video, so the next names we're still looking for are Arthur Atlantic despite Betty crossing over. Amanda is the next name in the Eastern Pacific. Jane May is the next name we're looking for the Western Pacific. We should be seeing that soon. Boz, we should be seeing anytime now. Kimmy is the next name for Australia. We could be seeing that shortly as well. Kundai in the Southwest Indian Ocean, Yakikan in the South Atlantic, which is actually the last name of the list, and Calvinia in the South Pacific. That's all we have for today. See you next time and see what chaos happens next.